The evil queen didn't just want Snow White dead, she wanted to eat her lungs and liver. That is what the Brothers Grimm wrote in 1812, not a fairy tale about jealousy and a magic mirror, a story about a mother who orders her own daughter hunted, her organs harvested, and then sits down to dinner. This is grim and true. A king had a daughter born in the middle of winter. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips red as blood, her hair black as ebony wood. Her mother died soon after. The king remarried. The new queen was beautiful. She owned a magic mirror, and every morning she asked it the same question. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? For years it answered, you. Then, one morning, it didn't. Snow White had grown. She was 7 years old, and the mirror said she was fairer than the queen. The queen summoned her huntsman. Take the child into the forest, she told him. Kill her, and bring me back her lungs and her liver. He was to eat them himself, salted and boiled, as proof of the deed. The huntsman took Snow White into the forest. He raised his knife. He could not do it. He told her to run. She ran. He killed a wild boar instead, cut out its lungs and liver, and brought them to the queen. She ate them. Snow White ran until she found a small cottage in the woods. Inside, 7 little beds, 7 little plates, 7 little cups. She ate some bread from each plate, drank a little wine from each cup, and fell asleep in the smallest bed. The 7 dwarfs came home that evening. They found her sleeping. In the morning they agreed she could stay if she would cook and clean and keep the house. The queen discovered through her mirror that Snow White was still alive. She disguised herself as a traveling merchant woman and came to the cottage. She offered Snow White a beautiful lace corset and offered to lace it up for her. She pulled it so tight that Snow White stopped breathing and fell to the floor. The dwarfs came home and found her. They loosened the laces. Snow White breathed again. The queen came back disguised as an old woman combing hair. She offered Snow White a beautiful comb dipped in poison. The moment it touched Snow White's hair, she dropped unconscious. The dwarfs came home. They pulled out the comb. Snow White breathed again. The queen came back a 3rd time with a poisoned apple, half red, half white. She ate the white half herself to show it was safe and gave Snow White the red half. Snow White bit into it. The piece of apple lodged in her throat. She fell as if dead. This time, the dwarfs found nothing to remove. They laid her in a glass coffin on a hilltop and took turns keeping watch. A prince came riding through the forest. He saw Snow White through the glass and was seized with a desperate need to have her. He begged the dwarfs to give him the coffin. He could not live without looking at her. They gave it to him. His servants carried the coffin down the mountain. One of them stumbled on a tree root. The coffin lurched. The piece of poisoned apple dislodged from Snow White's throat. She opened her eyes. The prince said he loved her more than anything in the world. He asked her to marry him. Snow White said yes. The evil queen was invited to the wedding. Her mirror told her the young queen that was 1,000 times more beautiful than she was. She went anyway, driven by curiosity and something worse. When she arrived, she recognized Snow White. The wedding guests seized her. They placed a pair of iron shoes, forged red hot in the fire, on the floor before her. She was made to put them on. She was made to dance. She danced until she fell down dead. That is what the Brothers Grimm published. No true love's kiss, no reformed stepmother, no comedic dwarfs with names and catchphrases, a queen who consumed what she believed was her stepdaughter's heart, a girl who survived only by accident, a stumble on a route, and a punishment at the end designed not for justice, but for maximum suffering. The story was not a fantasy of rescue, it was a portrait of what envy, left without a check, becomes. and the reminder that cruelty answered with cruelty was not a tragedy, it was simply the ending. This is Grim and True. Subscribe if you want more of the real stories. Next week, The Little Mermaid, and what Anderson actually wrote for her ending. Until then, stay in the dark.